And Vizman is the last name?
Vizman, yes.
Vizman. Okay. All right. Well, good to have you on. You had no trouble getting on?
No,
Oh, good.
not at all.
Okay, good. And are you based in what city in Israel are you joining us from?
We are based in Nes Ziona.
In Estiona.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is one of the focal places in Israel when most of the science innovations are coming from.
Okay.
It's Nes Ziona Rehovot. It's the science part for Israel, one of the largest one.
Oh, wow. Okay. So is that closer to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem? Those are two. No, nowhere
Somewhere.
near.
No, it's like more or less the same. I would say it's closer to Tel Aviv than in Jerusalem.
Okay. All right. Sort of in the middle. Okay, great.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay. All right. So, Karthika, we are right at 6, right? So we can officially kick off. Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Do I need to share something with my screen or just?
No, unless you have a picture of the machine or something at some point you want to share, you can. If you want to share, there's a share screen capability right at the bottom there. Can you see that? Where it's there's a cross against the computer. Yeah. So that's just like Zoom. You could just use that if there is something you would like to share. You're on your screen.
No. Maybe you want to see some pictures or something. Right?
Oh no, if you have them, yeah, no problem. It depends. I guess usually chat, and sometimes they pop up something if they wanted to illustrate it, but not a.
So let's just chat.
That's perfectly okay with us. So I think officially just now live. So let me make a quick introduction, and then we'll get on to the meat of it.
Good.
All right. Hi everybody. Thank you for joining us again for another session of putting the planet on a pandemic diet. We are excited to have today Racheli Vizman from Israel joining us. She's the CEO, co-founder and CEO of SavorEats, and we're going to hear a lot about what she does and the company does, and the whole story behind her amazing technology and plant-based burgers to start with. But before I do that, I want to do a quick shout out to two of our newest sponsors, Green Queen Media from Hong Kong is joining us as a sponsor, as is Restream.io and Lately AI. So thank you very much for being a part of the Pandemic Punditry family. So without further ado, Racheli, welcome to Pandemic Punditry.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's great to have you. It's funny. We were the second person to come from Israel with 3D printing technology for plant-based food. So we had Esh from Refined Meats here earlier. So it seemed like a pretty hotbed of 3D printing, Israel.
Yeah, I think that Israel become one of the leading pioneers in the food tech industry. The combination of technology and science is definitely you can see results, some good results here in Israel, and I'm really I feel like I'm blessed to be part of it.
Yeah, I think I remember when I was in school a very long time ago. We always learned about how the Israelis were very good about all the agriculture, especially in arid environments. I mean, there was a lot of technology where agriculture and food business was concerned in general. I mean, I think the whole world looked up to Israel for some of that technology. How Israel was able to eke out of the earth. From a very tough environment, all that food. So I think it seems like the second wave of that is what we're seeing now with everything that companies that you founded and others have done. So it's really gratifying to see, and it's very impressive.
Thank you.
So just give us a little bit of your journey and how you sort of ended up, founding this company, and what was your inspiration or motivation to start SavorEats?
Good. So a little bit about my background. I started my career path in the healthcare industry, developed drug device combination, diagnostic tools for treating cancer, variety of products in the healthcare sector for many years.
Okay.
And I said thanks to a medical situation that I was facing like 5 years ago, even more than 5 years ago. I got into a situation where I almost didn't have nothing to eat because I needed to adapt a very strict diet in order to take care of the situation that I was facing. And I find it quite difficult to find food that will meet my needs. And I was in a period of time when we work on an IPO in the Nasdaq. In my previous company, I was very stressed and I couldn't find food, so I was really frustrated. I wasn't the same woman that I used to be, and I felt like something's wrong is happening to me, like I'm becoming sick.
Right.
And I was so weak. So, and then, as an entrepreneur, trying all the time to find solution for problems, I said, okay, I need to go to search in the web and trying to find something that will meet my needs. I'm going to the supermarket, and the only things that I can find bread with no gluten, milk with no lactose. I was really frustrated when I go to the supermarket and trying to find things on the shelf that I can consume them. So, and when I opened the web and just do Google, very quick search in Google, I found out that there isn't something that can really personalize food, and the entire food innovation is just in the beginning. I'm talking about 6 years ago almost.
Right.
So it's not the same like it's happening today, but at that time, it just was the beginning, and it just starting talking about food and food initiative and food innovation. And, that was a part of me when I was, quite experienced such as excitement that I want to take part of it. I would like to make a better world. I would like to create something and a solution product that will answer customers' needs and wants. So I want a product that will meet my needs, and I'm not the only one that are dealing with this situation, and sure. I definitely am not the only one. And then until I took my previous company public and we become successful and everything goes well, and then I decided that I'm leaving my previous company, and I'm just doing a timeout to trying to analyze what is the technology that I need to develop in order to answer this need. So as part of this process, it took me about a year. I've analyzed a variety of technologies with professors, entrepreneurs, with universities, with incubators. I look for what is going on there and what can I invent there. I was really lucky to find my partners, Professor Racheli and Professor Vaslevsky, that exposed me to the new ideas that they are developing since 2016, which is a 3D printing technology for food, or more specifically for printing, which excites me the most because at that point I realized that it's definitely answer what I'm looking for. With the adopting 3D printing, I can provide personalized food. So I was lucky to find them, and we have incorporated the company in 2018. And what we are doing, we are developing a new way to recreate the unique experience, the taste and the flavors meat, using proprietary 3D printing technology and cooking instruments, which allows us not just to create a really delicious product, a really tasty product, but at the same time allows us to cook and to grill the product simultaneously. So at the end, we get something and get a product that's ready to be consumed, which for the first time ever, this food product can be personalized. So we can adjust the ingredients. Since we are building the product from its basic ingredients, we can adjust it to fit the customer preferences. So for instance, if you just completed a marathon and you need an extra protein, I can adjust it so you will get more protein than you used to, or less fat, or different cooking preferences, different size. And, even in the future, for the long term, you can also adjust it and get your genome, your microbiome profile, your medical profile, and can adjust it and can provide you with suggestion what you should eat and what you should consume and when. So that's my vision. That's the way I look on the food tech industry. This is what I want to bring to the world. That's the majority of innovation that we are, at that time working very hard to make this dream come true.
So it's interesting how, your medical devices sort of background. I mean, if you look at, food as medicine, which is, I mean, in a sense, lots of people will argue that it is the case. I mean, you're now, using creating a food device that actually could, put the microbiome in and personalize it against your, maybe dietary preferences, but maybe dietary requirements. If you want a low-fat diet, you can have a low-fat burger. Or any other thing. I mean, that's just absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, it's a marriage of sort of, really high tech, cutting edge technology with food, also of high tech nature, right? I mean, there's some innovation there as well. There's an amazing sort of confluence of things, and it makes sense given your background. That's sort of a perfect marriage of all of these things, given what you've sort of personally experienced as well as your background. So it seems uniquely a problem that you were sort of destined to solve.
Yeah, definitely. I think that my main passion, and I think that what excites me the most, is like, for the entire career path until I incorporated SavorEat, I invested it in healthcare and trying to develop drugs and devices to treat people, to save people's life, to improve their quality of life. And we did incredible things at those companies, but in the end, some of the challenges, some of the problems, some of the medical issues that we are dealing with, with drugs, with medical devices and others, are caused by the food that we are consuming. So if we can improve the food that we are consuming, and what is good for me is not good for you, probably, right, and I can adjust it to fit your needs, then I can provide you with healthier solution, with a quality solution that I would like to believe that in the end, you will need to consume much less drugs and much less medical involvement. That's my goal. That's my goal in life. That's the impact that we would like to leave behind us. And yes, you are right. Food as a medicine, definitely, to avoid medicine.
Exactly. Karthika, you had some questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, Racheli, because I think you touched on that point where you said you want to make the world a better place. And then in one of the articles that was written about you, you'd said how you're using infrared technology to print the burgers as they cook it. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, so what we're using 3D printing technology. And cooking had the same one that you are using, more or less the same technology that you are using in a regular grill. It's not something that's quite unique. And the thing is that you can control the temperature. So the temperature will not be so high, so you will get a carcinogenous ingredients in it. So you can control the level of heating, which make it much more safer in terms of cooking. So yes, those are the both major technology. We also have invented a new ingredient, which is a unique derivative of cellulose that developed by the Agriculture University of Rehovot, one of the leading universities here in Israel that's responsible for most of the advanced technologies that Israel has to offer. And this unique derivative of cellulose basically allows us to create variety of textures, variety of mouthfeels, and provide us with the ability to bind the product together with fat, water, taste, and flavors, and create a very stable dish that can be printed in the machine. So it's a combination.
That cellulose is proprietary to you, or is it a generally available sort of ingredient?
To us. So you are using ingredients that already been approved using food, but we have invented the methods to create this unique derivative of cellulose, which is unique to us. It's a trade secret. It's not something that we are covering in any patents or so.
So what is you said that this requires no refrigeration for 6 months, the cartridges that, essentially you feed into the machine. What are these soy protein? Is it pea protein? I mean, or is it something we never heard of?
No, it's definitely a protein. Everything is that you heard about. All the ingredients that we are using are safe to use in food. We are using mix of protein. And the basic idea, which makes us so unique, we couldn't care less what will be the source of the protein. Once we combine variety of mix of protein, together with this unique derivative of cellulose, which we combine them together, we can create variety of texture that feel like jelly, texture that feel like fibers, even texture that feel like beef jerky, like very strong. by adjusting the printing process. So we have invented an additional unit in the printing process, which I cannot elaborate, which allows us to create fibrous texture. So I can use pea protein, and the same thing, I can also use a chickpea protein and get more or less the same result. So we're using off-the-shelf protein, a mixture of off-the-shelf protein.
So the real secret is the binding agent, I guess. The cellulose. The real secret sauce is a cellulose derivative.
It's not just the cellulose. Cellulose is the way that we are creating product and the algorithm that supports it behind it. Because at the end, it's an integration of hardware and ingredients and cooking. So the nutrients that, the integration of those three parameters, which makes the product really tasty, and the texture that feels much more closer to the real thing, and give you the sensory experience that you are looking for when you are consuming the meat or turkey.
Sorry, Katia.
No problems at all. So the texture and everything, being able to select that on the spot, is that using the same cartridge, or do they have to change the cartridge?
Good. So we have three cartridges. One of them is the mix of protein together with our cellulose. The other one is the mix of fat together with the cellulose. And the third one is the liquid. It's basically the water and the color of the different colors that we are using. So you have three cartridges, and the taste and the flavors are spread in all those three cartridges. So basically, the cartridges will allow you to create a few products simultaneously. So you don't need to replace them all the time. And you don't need to replace the cartridges in order to create different products. Probably the only thing that in the future, once we will introduce additional product, then we will change the capsules which are responsible for the taste and flavor, while the fat and the protein more or less will be the same thing.
Wow. So this is just like a printer at home. I mean, an ink cartridge printer at home, you have, the three primary colors and it paints the whole world. I mean, it can be anything you want it to be, almost.
I claim it's much more than that, but the basic idea stands behind it is very similar. Most of the revenue comes from the cartridges, the same like in a routine printer that we have at home.
Okay.
But it's definitely that's the whole idea of 3D printing, which you can personalize printing based on your demands. So you just take it one step further and move it into food, and trying to use those capabilities to create food that can be better personalized. And the thing is, when you are manufacturing food and you provide it to the end user, basically, you can also skip the entire manufacturing process, because at the end, this is a mini manufacturing plant that you put it in the end user, in a chain of restaurants, chains of hotel, or any food services in the beginning, right? So when you have the cartridges can stay for a few months in room temperature with no need to refrigerate it, no need to transfer it in a refrigeration processes. So you can use it, and you don't need a manufacturer. You just need to. We are packaging. We have packaged where we are, packaging all the ingredients together and close it in the cartridges. So we don't have real manufacturing processes. So we are, in the end, skipping the entire manufacturing process and provide the end user the ability to control the manufacturing process and to control the quality of the product. Since we are not putting the product on the shelf, we don't need to add preservatives, for instance, because you just print what you're consuming, and we don't have waste, because 30% of the waste, that we are wasting 30% of the food that we are production. Okay, so that's definitely dramatically also changing, all the concept when you think about environment and think about the efficiency of food production.
So this distributed manufacturing is essentially completely rewriting and disrupting what we've traditionally known in the business, whether it's plant-based or otherwise, where you have a central factory where all the inputs come in and the manufacturing happens and you start shipping it out all over the world. The carbon footprint is massive. The waste is an issue. And here we've essentially created mini factories at point of sale, and removed a whole lot of complications associated with that. I mean, it is, so, there's a multiple revolutions within a revolution here in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's, when you think about food tech, it's not just inventing a new taste, a new flavor, or a new product. It's like, the opportunity to combine technology, real technology, with, old-fashioned food industry. For me, that's food tech. I think that we are just in the beginning, and there are a lot of other opportunities where we can combine technology with food and to improve the food that we are consuming, and provide customers with with better food, much clean label food, much more cleaner than all the other partners. So definitely, that's something that all of us need to start thinking about it and to promote it. And I think that this is what we are doing. In the recent year, we see a lot of advanced technology from different industries are coming into the food, and it's quite exciting.
So where are you, sort of commercially speaking? Are you still in R&D? Are you a year or two away from?
Yeah, we are still in R&D. We're still in the development stage. And we are about to start next summer. We are about to start the first pilot in one of the largest burger joint in Israel.
Okay.
And and introduce our first product, which is a meatless burger. Today we have systems that support this, and people can visit us and can experience the future and can taste the real future. We have a very delicious plant-based burger that can be printed here and can be cooked simultaneously. You just need to push a button, not more than that. And within a few seconds, you get a product ready to consume, and just put it just put it on the bun, and everything is ready, and you can just take a bite. So we are there already, and we are about to start the pilot relatively soon. We believe that within 2 years, we will be ready for full commercialization. We have a way to go through. Definitely, we have a few more.
You are disrupting a bunch of different industries, so I would assume there's a little bit more to go. Is your main focus or main target QSPs or these quick food service kind of places, or obviously that would be a natural fit for what you're trying to do, right? So restaurants and things like that.
Yeah, we will start probably with restaurants. We already signed with one of the largest burger joints that definitely will. We will need to start with restaurants, but not just that. The entire food service as a whole. It's not just that. It's just change of hotels, institutional kitchen, convenience store, the aviation industry, variety of options that you can think of when you offer a final product. Okay, so those places when you are serving customers and you're meeting the final customers, this is where we would like to be. And my vision, my passion, my long-term goal for the long-term vision for the company is to go into the B2C. And once we will introduce additional taste and flavors and additional products, not just meatless solution, but also seafood solution and chicken, meatless,
Kebabs.
Kebab, lamb, and pork, and other alternatives. And definitely, we would like to penetrate into the B2C, but it will take us time. It's still a process that we need to work on, raise additional resources, and have additional expertise to get in those areas as well. But the future is quite bright for us. It's definitely, there is a lot of opportunities.
So like the meat equivalent of an espresso machine, where you can get all kinds of cartridges and you have it in your countertop, and you can get whatever kind of coffee you want. In this case, whatever kind of meat alternative you want.
Yes, and when we will be there, then I can take a very long breath and say, okay, we did it. So that's our goal. That's the goal in the vision. That's the way we would like to go through. So this is the reason, by the way, we have team from Nespresso looking at us, trying to understand the model and trying to build properly.
So I guess even Elon Musk might come calling, for a Mars mission. They could definitely put one of your machines in the space.
To join me.
Karthika, you had more questions?
I did. Actually, going through your website, it was interesting that I saw a segmentation I've never seen before with any of the other all-protein companies, which is, you said you're perfect for military bases.
Yeah, military bases, school. Think about third world countries. Where at the end you just need electricity, you need a connection to electricity, and that's it. You don't need nothing than that. We can replace institutional kitchens that a very conservative one by just having this machine.
And how many burgers can one sort of cartridge print?
up to 8 products simultaneously for a period of up to 6.
Up to 8 or 6?
Eight.
Sorry,
8, right?
8 products, up
Eight
to
products.
6 minutes of preparation for
6
all the
units?
8.
8. Okay.
8 units. While each one of them has a different composition, different size, different preferences.
And how big would the event? I know it's still not ready, but how big would this machine be? I mean, would it be a size of a refrigerator or the size of a
No.
car?
It's double the size of a microwave. Process, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not very big.
No, because it's just 8 products. It's not really big one.
Okay.
But if you want to get into the mass scale production, then you would like to create more than that, then it will be different. But the product that we're aiming to penetrate, the first version of the product, it will allow us to create up to 8 products. And time will tell if we will need more than that. We believe that will be enough.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So you mentioned seafood as a potential possibility and lamb and other things. So what is the limitation? I mean, a burger seems a pretty simple thing. It's around like a hockey puck, right? A piece of chicken, you're looking at a nugget kind of thing, or are you looking at a size like a breast? I mean, how does the shape and all that get?
When you're using 3D printing, it's relatively shape it. It's like you can get a shrimps that look like shrimps and taste like shrimps, but it's not a shrimps. So you can do it by hand, and you can do it by with unique routine manufacturing processes. You don't have any capabilities like this. But when you're using 3D, you can paint it, you can design it, so it will look like the new thing. That's the big advantages when you're using 3D printing.
Because you're not restricted by some mold, right? That's the whole point, isn't it? You're not, it's not some kind of mold that you're using.
And it's a code. Basically, it's a code that you design a code, and we just print it.
Great. Karthik, you had a question? I think you're on mute. You're on mute. Sorry.
All right. I just want to go back to the whole infrared light question and how that helps, solve like the energy problem of the world going forward, especially, for example, more and more restaurants adopt this technology. How do you see yourself and your company positioning your technology to help make the world a better place?
As I said, thing is not for us. It's not just the energy. It's also part of it that you can, there, as you probably realize, there is a lot of benefits and a lot of economical benefits, environmental benefits, health benefits that we are solving using this solution. And they're using, I would say that, more than the size of, energy-wise, the solution is the health solution, which care for us the most. So when you are controlling the temperature, when you are drilling the product, there's something that can impact your health. So this is part of what we would like to promote, rather than thinking about energy-wise. In terms of energy, saving energy, I think it's much more important to talk about the supply chain. That you don't need to refrigerate it, you don't need to transfer it in the refrigeration processes, so you save a lot of energy in food hot printing. So those are the things that we would like to focus on, but definitely there are additional benefits that we can have a discussion for an hour, and we have a lot of other ideas that we can go through.
I mean, overall, I'm sure it's significantly less than what it would take to get a cow-based sort of hamburger on your plate, right? Obviously, by a huge margin, I'm assuming. The footprint and the carbon footprint.
Yeah, so I think that this is one of the most important parts of what we would like to promote. But as a startup, we must be very focused. We must be very focused on what we are developing, the product that we are penetrating to the market, and the message that we would like to deliver to our potential customers, and what is the most important part and what is less important. And we need to focus on those that are really important. And what is happening today, what has become much more important, is the healthier issue, the environmental issues. Those are the major changes, trends that we see in the food industry.
So if I were to switch gears a little bit, Racheli, I mean, as a female entrepreneur, I mean, we actually having a few. We have two on Friday as well. We've been having a lot of people who are in the alternative protein space who are female-led companies. So it's gratifying to see that. What have some of your challenges been as a female entrepreneur? I mean, were there any sort of barriers to you raising capital or getting talent and resources to join you? Has that been an issue at all?
Not at all. I will even say that it makes me even easier to get the traction and get key opinion leaders to join me. It's become much more easier for them to join me, I think. And also in terms of raising funds, I couldn't see any differences, if I were a man. I got, my investors really happy about their decisions, and we have a very good relationship. So I don't feel the differences. And I think that in Israel, which I think that there are also additional places in the world, but we encourage to be part of it and to become an entrepreneur. By the way, the Israeli government also supports women entrepreneurs and encourage us to become entrepreneurs. I believe that good support from the Israeli Innovation Center under a unique program for women entrepreneurs, which makes me very proud to be a woman, an Israeli woman, and an Israeli woman which is also entrepreneur. So for me, I was gifted to born and to raise here in Israel because they really encourage women to become entrepreneurs.
It's great. I mean, that was my sort of second follow-up question, which was, what is Israel doing that's, sort of nurturing all these amazing companies that we're seeing? I mean, you're a small country. I mean, I was born in a very small country, Sri Lanka. Karthika is joining us from Colombo. I'm in India right now. I mean, 1.3 billion versus 20 million over there. But, it's just amazing that such a small country is able to produce such amazing technologies. I mean, in multiple fronts. I mean, not only in food, but in others as well. What is it that is so unique to Israel? I mean, is it the government support that you just, sort of mentioned? Is it just the sort of the sheer talent in terms of technology, smart, the natural smarts of the people, education system? I mean, give us a flavor for what you think maybe Israel's sort of secret sauce or the merits of its ecosystem that it's both great companies.
Yeah, I would say it's a mix. I would say it's a mix of many things, but just in the macro perspective, we are surrounded by enemies. Okay,
right.
We have nowhere to go, just to the sea. So we have each other, and we don't have oil or any nature sources that we can, use it in order to profilate. So we just have ourselves, our brain, and our friendship and relationships that we are creating. So we are a very small country. So for instance, if I want to talk with someone from a different city, it's like the worst case scenario is just 5 hours, 6 hours drive between each side of Israel. So it's very easy for me to communicate and to collaborate. Most of us need to go to the army. So we meet a lot of friends in the army, a lot of connections in the army. In a very young age, we got exposed to become individual and to take care of our friends at the army. So responsibility is part of the way that we are thinking, the way that we are raising here in Israel, to take responsibility. And also the government is really supporting innovation because this is what we have. Okay, that's the source that we only have. We don't have anything else rather than using our brain. So I think that this is that's the real source of the reason why we are so successful is because we're just using the brain and we have created those networking and very efficient networking together, which we help each other. I think that's part of it. Wonderful. And the involvement also the universities and entrepreneurs. This is also part of it. It's a mix of things. It's just one thing.
It's not one. Yes, that's true. Karthik, you had a question?
Actually, no. I just wanted to add to what Racheli said because if I'm not mistaken, Racheli, Israel has like the highest ratio of investing out of the gross domestic product in civil research and development, right, in the world. And also, I think per 10,000 employees, they have the highest ratio of scientists and technicians sort of in the world as well. So I think those also are contributing factors.
Today, if you will ask a regular mom here in Israel, what is her dream about her children, what they will do, whether they will become a doctor or engineer or a lawyers, most of them will say you that we want our kids to become entrepreneurs. So it's part of the culture. Be innovative. It's like that's definitely part of Israel, which be raised to become entrepreneur.
It's amazing. So what are your sort of ambitions or ideas for global expansion and domination? I mean, where next? I mean, okay, so you got the largest burger chain in Israel as a potential, first customer. I mean, would you actually see yourself licensing this technology or manufacturing it in Israel and shipping it all over the world? And so what's that model of sort of getting outside of the borders of Israel? I mean, how do you see that happening?
So first of all, our target market for the initial penetration, it's just as Israel, it's the US. We are aiming to penetrate our first product in the US. We will have our own manufacturing facilities collaborating with other outsourcing manufacturers here in Israel. While in the future, we are expecting to have additional factories in the US and all around the globe. Where at the end it's quite simple, the manufacturing processes that we are integrating, because it's not a real manufacturing process, and the machine itself, we are working with an international company that are manufacturing the machine itself, so they can do it here in Israel, they can also do it abroad, and there is no limitation for us, definitely in the way that we see the future. So we can go through the US, or maybe in the future we want to go to Asia, so we can identify partners and collaborators where we would like to manufacture our product and penetrate them in the specific market. And we're also we're now discussing with potential distributors and partners to join us into in order to penetrate the product into different territories rather than just the US.
Oh, great! Because I know my fellow Indian audience members. We are streaming to India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh in this time zone, and everybody, and then all across the world as well. So I know I'll get questions from people saying when he's coming to India, or how is that going to work? So I'm glad you answered that question for us. So are you following somewhat the Nespresso model, where you could essentially have the machine made by anybody under whatever sort of white label brand, but then make the money supplying the cartridges, the software, and all of that, which is their main revenue source potentially? Is that how the business model has been set up?
No, we are also the one that
will make
manufacturing the machine.
Okay.
Yes, we can give license to factories that will manufacture it to us, but we will have, the final brand, the final control will be ours. But yes, most of the revenue will derive from the cartridges, so we will keep it very close to our heart. While the machine itself, it's a hardware, as you said. You need the software and you need the ingredients. Right. So yes, so the answer in a way is yes, but we are not going to give up the control of the manufacturer. So it will be powerless.
And in terms of price, I mean, that's another question people always ask. So eventually at scale, when you're fully kind of commercialized, are you seeing the price of the burger being actually cheaper than meat, or about the same, or more?
Good question. So I would like, in order to answer these questions, we need to understand where we are in the competitive landscape and what we would like to provide to our customers. So we are not planning at that point to sell our product in retailers, in mass market retailers, where you get a product and you get what you get. You need to come back home and cook it, and that's more or less what most of the players, the current players, are doing, which is Impossible Food, Beyond Meat, and all the great companies that are doing really great product and really great progress. But in the end, we would like to provide you with additional benefits that none of the players, the current players, can provide you with, is to get the best texture and the best experience of eating our product. Questions regarding, the advantage regarding the inventory and the supply chain, and advantages which relate to the fact that this is a really closed system with no gluten, no cholesterol, no preservatives, and kosher, halal, and gluten-free. Completely closed system. You don't need to invest in labor costs. You don't need to invest in experienced chef that will work on your dishes. So it's quite simplifies the entire manufacturing process. And the last one, it can be personalized to fit your customer's demands. So you provide you additional benefits that in the end, we will see some of it become part of the price of the final product due to the fact that you provide something else that you can.
Sure.
So the question is not what will be the cost or what will be the price. It's the question of the willingness to pay, and this is the way we will calculate. At the end, the cost, the price of the final product.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, it's much less costly than raising a cow because you're using cleanses.
Yeah, I mean, when you add the true cost of meat, right? I mean, which is always hidden in subsidies and everything else. When you add the true cost of it, I mean, it's already at parity. I think what people don't understand is that the government subsidies for the dairy and the meat industry, hide those costs considerably. How big is your team now? I mean, in terms of, I know you're in R&D, so it's all probably mostly scientists and technologists and things like people like that.
Yeah, so most of us are engineers.
Okay.
And professors, PhD. Most of us coming from the science part, but we also have chefs and marketing experts that are coming from various food manufacturing facilities, from global manufacturing facilities. We are now about 11 people that are working on this development, and we are about to recruit additional 5 employees relatively soon. We're quite expanding, and when the time will come, we will raise additional employees.
Yeah, I mean, I asked that question to sort of give. I know there are a lot of potential entrepreneurs. I get constant messages from people saying, "Hey, do you know anybody who's investing in X, Y, plant-based meats, dairy?" And everybody wants to get involved and join. And I think the reason I asked the question was to say that it doesn't have to be a huge enterprise, right? I mean, when you use technology like you're doing and science to do this, you don't need a massive team initially to kick it off, right? So it's all in the IP that you develop from the smarts that you have. So I think you can start with a handful of people and then obviously expand as you scale up. And
yeah, I think that the way that you would like to, I can say about SavorEat that we are looking, the people that are working with us coming with with a rich experience from the food industry, right, or from the technology side, which it's not just the amount of people that are working with us, but it's the quality of the people that are working with us, that faces some challenges that they learn from their mistakes and from their success. Right. So which makes things easier for us and help us to pass this process relatively fast.
Okay. We're sort of at the 45-minute mark. Karthika, any questions from you?
No, I just had one question because Racheli is a woman in STEM, and I know we're trying to put other women in STEM together, for example, with Isha and what we're doing with Michelle and all of that stuff. So would you be interested to connect with more women in STEM from all over the world?
Sure. Definitely. I'm also part of it. There are a lot of groups that are supporting women. So I'm definitely part of it, and all the time willing to be and to participate and to help additional entrepreneurs to get through this process. Definitely, quite open.
Fantastic.
Great. We'll let people know, and there'll be also it's amazing. The more we sort of uncover what's happening in technology, not only in food but in other areas, the more women we discover. We're going to be featuring a lot of them this month here at Pandemic Punditry on different subjects. But it's gratifying to see more women take leadership roles in companies such as yours. So we're looking forward to that, and I'm really thrilled that you joined us, Racheli, and all the very best from us. And we're really excited. I mean, going through your website makes me hungry. That really does look like an amazing burger. and I have tasted a lot of plant-based burgers in my life. So yeah, that looks really good.
In the recent 5 months, I gained almost 4 kilograms just by eating burgers all the time. Like there is any data, almost every day I'm consuming a burger, at least one.
Okay.
Sometimes it can even be 5 or 6.
Oh wow!
Because we're tasting it, we are mixing, we are playing with it, we're now tasting it again, we're changing something, we're tasting it again.
So that's the hazard of the job.
And that's the fun. That's the fun of being an entrepreneur in the food. It's like getting something tasty in your mouth.
At least you're not making ice cream and chocolates. It could be a lot worse.
Oh.
Or cheese.
Oh, cheese, yeah.
Ice cream, yes, definitely.
No, I don't know whether you saw that latest commercial in Israel with the lamb. I thought that was a brilliant.
That was really good.
Sharing it everywhere on our social media channels as well. Have you seen that one with somebody asks for fresh lamb and they bring a actual lamb and give it in the supermarket? Have you seen that ad?
I don't think so.
We'll share it. Actually, it's in Israeli TV, I guess, and it's sort of gone pretty viral all over the world. So.
Okay, good. So I'm not really the one that watch TV really often because
there's no social media. Yeah. Okay. We'll send it across.
Yeah. So I probably saw it and I remember.
Okay. So great to have you, and all the very best, and keep in touch, and we'll whenever this is ready for actually to see the double size, microwave size device, we would love to see pictures of it at the very least.
You just want to eat the burger.
No, well, we eventually want to eat the burger.
Come to Israel. I welcome you after the corona,
yes.
situation, this crazy situation with over. You are more than welcome to visit us and take a bite from the future.
Thank you. No, we definitely on my bucket list of places to go. As a vegan, I'm thrilled to come and visit. I know I won't be hungry at the very least. So, and I can't say that about most countries. So thank you very much, Racheli, and all the very best. Thank you again for gracing out.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Rosh Hashanah. Yes, thank you. Okay, bye.